rolled overhead wire. The car itself, built in 1927 by the Coleman Car Company in Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow.
Anybody here from Ohio?
Nope.
I've been there.
So, it was originally owned and ran on a railroad out of Louisville, Kentucky. Amongst other things, it ran across a bridge into Indiana and then went to other towns on the interurban and suburban lines. So they built a highway bridge, because in that time they did, and then guess what? Everybody jumped in their cars and went over the bridge.
Yeah.
So the railroad shut down. They moved the car to Terre Haute, Indiana, where it ran both as a suburban car and also ran all the way up as an interurban all the way up to Indianapolis. So if you look at the map, they're really kind of close together.
Yeah.
So anyway, it ran there for a few years until, they started shutting the lines down. The car became surplus. They sold it to Portland Traction, Portland, Oregon. Came out here and ran for about 1940 to around 1958. And at that point, it got retired there. Somewhere in there, when it went to Portland, they turned it into a one-man car. It used to be a two-man car. There's a door here. You can see the door is still there, but they basically put the floor up to it. And a matching door on the other end, too. So it had 4 doors. But then they built it as a one-man car. It became 2 doors. So anyway, when it got retired, they gave it to the Bay Area Electric Railway Association, which is the parent organization for the museum. And when they acquired this property, 1960, this was the first car moved onto the property back in those days. And then about 7 years ago, they started a restoration project, and that was about $500,000.
Wow.
And they completely restored the car. It had a red paint job before then, which was fading. And so they repainted it back in the Portland colors, renewed the interior. So these all date back to 2016.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
So all done at our restoration shop right over here.
Oh, nice.
And then we have been using it a lot since then because it's a nice car to use. A couple of my colleagues say, but it's so boring. Well, we got one of our cars in there that we use, which is an even older car, 1904 built.
Oh, wow.
Well, they pulled it in about 3 years ago for a repaint job. Unfortunately, the guy they hired said, I need more money. Oh, we don't need you. Unfortunately, that plus COVID and the fact that when they get into it, they start pulling the wood off to paint, they find, aha, guess what? Rotten wood.
Oh, man.
So now they're working on it.
Yeah.
It's halfway painted and halfway repaired. So maybe in another year it'll be out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right.
So that we got 3 cars in there right now undergoing restoration. So the Bay Area Electric Railway Association, which we are a member, owns and operates. That has its earliest start back in the 1930s.
Wow.
A group of people got together and would charter trains on the various electric railway lines. One time they chartered a train on the Sacramento Northern from Oakland to the State Fair in California, not the State Fairgrounds nowadays. There was another one out there that you could reach by streetcar, so they had a train taken through on the streetcar tracks out to the fairgrounds.
That's amazing.
And then, well, anyway, 1946, after the war, they had chartered a car in the East Bay lines, and in talking to the conductor, they found out that car was going to get scrapped. And what they did is, since this was a wood body car, they take all these old cars, put them in a stack after they pulled all the copper out of them, set them on fire.
Oh,
When the fire went out, they'd sift through the ashes for all the metal bits left over.
Hmm.
And that's how they scrapped them. Well, people said, yeah, we can't have that. It's too fine an old car.
Yeah.
How much? Conductor goes, I don't know. What do you got? So the legend is they grab his hat, they pass it around, comes back with $250.
Wow.
By golly, that is enough. Now, $250, 1946, that's a fair amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was the first car. And you know how things are. You buy one, it's easy to buy another. And they started to buy more cars. All of a sudden, they had 15 or 20 various street cars, railroad cars, whatever, and they just had them stored in places around the Bay Area, anywhere from somebody's backyard to railroad storage. Well, they realized, one, they needed a common storage site. Two, they needed a place to run, because by 1960 there aren't that many electric railways anymore. So they find out about a sheep ranch for sale. It's out here by Highway 12, also next to what used to be the Sacramento Northern Line, running from Oakland to Sacramento. They raised the funds, they bought 28 acres. And here we are today.
That's amazing.
Like I say though, sheep ranch. Nothing was around here. It's a well-fertilized field, but that was it. Excuse me. Post-nasal drip. Anyway, so over the years, first thing they started building was car barn 1. They laid some track, because that's they unloaded cars up here by the road. They rolled them down, they laid track, they put up a pole barn here, and that was the first building. They had the other buildings up here, which was the next gas station and bus barn, and a comfort spot for our men in uniform during the Second World War. I won't go into any further. Anyway, I'd say ask your parents later on. They might. Never mind. Anyway, so they, over the years, they turned the ex-filling station into our bookstore visitor center. You bought your tickets at a little spot up here called Laughlin Park Station. You rode from there down to here and back again. And that was the ride. Yeah, that was in 1965. That was your ride. Over the next few years, they extended the track down, and then they built what they call the branch line over here, up this way, and we had a nice little ride. 1972, they built the shop right over here, and then year 2000, they built a brand new visitor center that you came in. And shortly after that, they got the funds and they built the Jensen Car Barn behind us. 6 tracks, 2 football fields long. And here we are today. If anybody is interested, you can become a volunteer. If you like, when you were a kid, you like running trains, we will train you how to do this. And I'm sorry, you got to be 18 and have a driver's license to drive, but you could be a conductor. You don't need any training to be a conductor. See, I'm doing it. Anyway, if you like working with your hands, we got the restoration shop, we got a track crew, we have a wire crew, a track and wire, So we got lots of things to do if you want to do it. And your ticket today can be used against the membership. We have individual, we have family, we have student, we got senior.
I'll take a ride.
Okay. Non-revenue, right. You'll play a lead, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Don't do it.
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Anyway, anybody have any questions so far? What time is it? Oh my goodness, we're late.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, of course.
Well, before we
Gotta go.
go, I gotta tell you the rules. You guys have been here before, so you may know the rules.
Yay, I'll see
So
you.
rule 1, when we're in motion, please remain seated. This is for your safety. We have crazy jackrabbits around here, and they have a tendency to jump in front of the car. And Miguel up here is a very kind-hearted person, and he might come to a sudden stop because he doesn't want to run over the jackrabbit. Of course, it's also he doesn't want to have to clean up the mess. But anyway, if we come to a sudden stop, we don't want anybody falling over because we don't want you to get hurt. Because if you do get hurt, that's more paperwork at the end of the day. So, rule 2, windows. If you want your window open or closed, please ask me, or I'll send John back, since he's supernumerary. Anyway, if your window is open, we ask you not to stick anything outside the window that you want to take home. Now, arms, legs, heads, younger brother or sister. Anyway, and there again, you know, we don't want this. The car was nicely restored, but at 1927, you know, we're coming up on 98 years old, and we don't want these windows coming down on anybody's hands, legs, head, younger brother or sister, whatever. Anyway, and the third rule is no smoking on museum property, please. If you got to smoke, you got to do it in your car. Can't do it in ours. And then I made up rule 4. And it's very, very important. You know what rule 4 is? You know what it is? No? Let's have fun. All right. So, as I said, this used to be a 2-man car. But they made it a 1-man car. So we lost our conductor belt. So what I need is help. Because as you hear, I can't talk very loudly. So on 3, I would like everybody to say very loudly, ding, ding, so Miguel knows it's time to go. Ready? 3.
Ding,
ding, ding.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Thursday? Yeah, that's a good time.
We are in motion.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, Thursday at 10. Okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay, I get it.
So that's the bus barn that I'm telling you about.
Oh.
It has a plaque from the E Climate Climate Society, memorizing the facts of the conversation.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
The area over here, which last week was a hole, but they kind of filled in. This is the site for our car barn 4. Be our newest building when we got all the funds together to actually build it. When they did that, they pulled everything out of car barn 1, take that down, and build a nice display center where we can have our nice looking cars. The reason why we ring the bell, we got the corner of the building, that's just in case someone is walking around the edge of the building.
Okay.
No surprises. The little building right here, that is one of our substations. So that takes 12,000 volts DC power from 600, converts it to DC for the overhead wire. We have another substation down the line, 4 miles down the line, that does the same thing. Because DC because it's a stop sign. And like all California drivers, we stop at the stop sign. Right?
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, why do we stop it? Well, up to this point, we have been running in what are called yard limits. And that's railroad talk for a parking lot for railroads, where the rules are you go slow, you maintain stopping distance between you and another object, another train car, another crazy jackrabbit, whatever. But now we're going out on our main line. This main line has not had signals on it since the 1950s.
Oh.
And we have no passing sighting where we're going. Therefore, we don't want to meet a car coming the other direction. Because not only might that be messy, more paperwork at the end of the day. So we had to come up with some method of control. First off, it had to be easy, and it had to be cheap. So what we came up with is a thing called the token. Token is actually the second oldest method of control in railroading. Probably invented in Great Britain when they realized not everybody could read a timetable, and you had two trains go through miss their passing sighting and met in the cornfield somewhere. So, to go over a certain section of track, you need the token for that section. You pick it up at one station, you take it down to the next station, drop it off, pick up the token for the next section, and so on. And thus you ran your train from, say, London to Birmingham. Well, the token system is actually still in use all over the world, from Great Britain to Europe, Africa, Asia, and here in Australia. So this is the only token. We have it on board. If somebody else brought a car out, they could not go past the stop sign. They don't have a token. Unless we were in emergency, the car died down there. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, I have it. I will pass it off to show it to Miguel. He knows in railroad terms. He has the authority to receive your token. Thank you, sir. Everybody on three. Three. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.